welcome back to Denton TMD. In today's video I'm going to give you a quick review on what the layout is looking at, the progress on the layout so far. There will be some pictures on me building the layout because I haven't filmed it all. This video has been requested from a couple of close mates. This video, the layout what I'm building now is totally different to previous model railway updates I've done. Because of the old layout I had to dismantle for various reasons, hence why I've had to downsize as well, but this is so far how it's come. It is kind of totally different to what the old layout plan was. This is what I tend to call my layout number 1, as there will be a modern image version of this layout at some point in the near future. But this version here is all about my 1950s to 1960s Southern Steam, and then on this layout I'd also be able to run 1970s Southern Stock too. But yeah, all it is going to be is just going to be explaining what the layout's going to look like, a quick overview on where everything's going to be located, just to get you familiar with it before you actually see it, and just to show you my progress on it really. So I hope you enjoy. Another thing, I haven't forgotten the part 3 of my class 50 fleet. I thought I'd just give a bit of a variation in videos, due to I don't want you lot to get bored on just seeing the same style of video over and over again. So I thought I'd break it up a little so you get something else to look at, keep you lot interested, and part 3 for my 50 fleet will be uploaded tomorrow. So yet again, I'm just going to say I'd let you enjoy this video clip of my model railway and where it is so far. It's not 100%, well, it's nowhere near complete for a start, but this is just the beginning of it. So like I said, please enjoy. So then, to begin with, this area over here, where the boxes are and my controller, this is where the small feeder yard's going to be. There is going to be a high section here for the mainline tracks, and there will be a single line to access what will be the MPD, that stands for Motive Power Depot, because that's what they would have called yards back in this time frame. Moving across to this section of the layout, which is going to be the beginning of the scenic boards, we're going to have this sort of bridge styled entrance to the depot tracks down the bottom here, and as you can see up the top here, we've then got what will be our 4-track main line. Also in this clip just over here, you can just about see my beginning of my handmade retaining wall that is still in the progresses of being built, alongside as the bridge you see here. But yeah, this section is going to be able to come all the way across, and the retaining wall follows the layout all the way down as far as the back wall over there. We'll get down to the second board in a minute, as this layout is split into 3 different boards as such. So we'll just focus on board number 1. So moving up onto the board number 1 mainline, as you can see we've got 2 extra bridge girders. They are converted from a old Pico turntable kit, I think it is, or an old Daypol turntable kit. It is going to be 4-track mainline, like the Southern was nearer towards London. I know the Network Southeast 33 there isn't totally correct, but it's just there to resemble that there will be 33s on this layout, and obviously in plain green or green with a small yellow panel. As you can see, there is also my 2 EPB on this layout as well. The video clip I had of the Black 5 with my Monster coaches was just on a bit of track that I've got wired up temporarily, just so I could make sure everything's running perfectly fine and as it should be. But yeah, as you can see, I've got this retaining wall that is going to separate the bottom of the layout boards to the top of the mainline boards, and I think it's just a nice cool little feature just to give that little scenic break from the wall I'm going with. This is obviously the wall I'm building is going to be based on a very common design as such. This is this brick paper of what I believe is called Victorian stone brick, I think it's called. And obviously I've just made a quick sketch out on what I'm going to be going with and just started going with my rough design on here. There is a lot of stuff that needs to be added in, like a background just to fill in that little arch, and then a couple of slab details along the top. And then I've got to then copy this detail work on the top here along every single panel I've got along the rest of the layout. But as I said, this is a 4-track main line up the top here, and this is going to be for trains that are just running straight through the back scene. So as the trains were going to come into the depot, they're going to have a point just back there, which will then bring us to our first fan of sidings. It's just going to be 2 sidings for obviously wagons, just up here. One's slightly longer than the other, just to give it that sort of steam effect where they just used to throw stock anywhere and everywhere. There is a couple of kit built wagons just down there that ain't quite finished built. But yeah, this is where 1 fan of sidings. As you can see, not a lot of wagons in there, but it does the job, and it's just to resemble quite a busy sort of shunting yard, and it just gives it a bit more interest and more fun for when running the layout. Just in front of it then, we have what I tend to call the arrival and departure tracks. This one over here being for the arrival, this one being for the departure. So we could have a freight train coming here, you know, uncouple from its locos and run into the head shunt. We could have it isolate up here. We could then have a paint tank or a shunter of some sort, move and jumble up a bit of stock, and then put it into what would be the so-called departure road where the standard 4 is. And then obviously the loco up there could either stay there and we have another loco come from the engine shed, or that same loco could then run all the way back onto the stock and take it back out into where the feeder yard is, just to give a bit more of a sort of realistic feel as such, and just to make sure that everything's nicely organised. It just makes you think a bit more about your next move as well. Another feature that's going to make you think about your move quite a lot is this fan of sidings just here. Yeah, again, this is going to be for stock, but it's facing the other way. So if you do have anything in the way on the track down here, you're going to have to make sure that this track's clear at all times to jumble your stock out of here, and the stock here is going to be all mixed up as you can see now. So you do have to do a lot of shunting to get to the correct wagons when you want it. So yeah, this is pretty much scenic board number 1 up to where this line is here. Like I said, the boards are going to be removable. This is just the first board, which is 5 foot by 2.5 foot. Yeah, again, there is going to be a scenic break in there. You could just see the thick dark line beyond the paint pot, where the wall is going to be able to split apart from each other, so I could remove the boards. But yeah, so the first board's all going to be based on the shunting side of things, with a couple of sidings where I'll put all my storage wagons for them to be all shunted around, and for my trains to come in and out of the depot when needed to. This board number 1 is going to be the only board which actually has a scenic main line on the background, because there where the board's just left a very light brown, unpainted, is going to be another feeder yard for the trains that will run between the background, just to give it a bit more interest and a different variety of stuff to see. Also on this board, where this leg here on the wall is, there is going to be a set of signals there, just to give it a little bit of a scenic break before you go into that feeder yard, and it's just there to try and hide the hole as much as possible. And then yet again on that side, there is going to be a signal box where this little triangular gap is going to be here, and that's going to hide the hole going into that signal box, into the feeder yard there, sorry, just to try and hide the hole as much as possible. But yeah, that's it for scenic board number 1. We'll move over onto what is going to be probably my favourite board, and that's number 2. So moving on to board number 2 then, you have to access from obviously the bridges all the way up there. You have to come all the way down across the board onto this track down here in front of us. And this is now the beginning of track number 2. As you can see, there is going to be a point in here, and that's because where the standard is here and the pannier tank is, I'm going to have a coal tower here, and then the trains can come down on this line here, which will then lead you to the turntable, which you can see is marked out where the maroon warship is. That's going to be a Pico turntable there, so I have got it drawn out to the size of a Pico turntable, ready to be cut, ready for me to install the turntable. And then that there will then bring you into what is going to be the engine shed, and this is what brings this board to be my favourite board. So I just like the look of having my engines dotted about in this sort of southern shed design, should say. So just here I'm going to have my water cranes where the locos will obviously be able to fill up with water, which will be quite cool. You will see this scenics in this area progress quite a lot over time, and I've got a lot of ideas for this section over here, including adding a water tower. Moving on to my engine shed, this is a converted Wills kit engine shed. The original engine shed was only for 2 locos and 2 track, where this one has been converted for 8 locos and 4 track, so there'll be 2 locos per road and 4 locos in a row to bring you that 8 locos in the engine shed. This has gone over some heavily modification work to get it to this standard. It is quite a difficult one to put together, and it requires a lot of thinking to convert it to this way. There's still a lot of work that needs doing to it. As you can tell, there's no roof on it at all, and still quite basic, and there's no detail on it as such. But it's been a very fun project working on so far, and I'm 100% sure the fun building this shed is going to continue over time. So far, I started painting and fitted the windows on it. The windows and window steels are painted black, like it shows on the shed, and a lot of southern stations had a black window frame and shelf on it. All of the white markings there are supposed to be to represent a weathered sort of look, on where the paint is starting to be peeled off or slowly wearing away over time. I thought that this gives it a nice little bit of detail to the engine shed, instead of it just being a nice clean engine shed when this layout is going to be based near the end of steam, when things were starting to get less cared about, and this sort of just left there to slowly rot away. But as you can see, none of the brickwork has been painted properly, there's no cement work added, it's still looking very clean, so a lot of work is needed here. There's a lot of, well, there's no doors fitted on this section here yet either, so yes, there is a lot of work that needs finishing on this engine shed, as well as adding a roof. I have had to add in these H-shaped plastic card supports along the roof, just to stop the shed from flexing and breaking the shed apart really. For each of these windows with the Wills kit engine shed kit, this window section is actually one panel with 2 windows, so there is, you know, one panel there, another panel, another panel and another panel there. But because that wasn't long enough for what my design was going with, I then had to custom cut my own window, just to make it to the size I need. With the engine shed kit itself, it only gives you 4 window panels, so this panel here with this window in started off as just one of these plain panels, just plain and bare, and I had to trace, measure this window here, and, you know, make my own sort of markings, and then cut my own window out on here, just so I could get it looking right, and so I could have my shed to my right size to what I need. and it just gives me that nice spacing, especially between locos, just to give it more of a realistic sort of touch, just to bring it nicely together. And yeah, as you can see, there is definitely enough space in there for 8 locos if needed, and then an extra space for 4 locos outside the front of the engine shed. But yeah, it means I could then dot all my engines around like this, like they would have been done back in the day. And I think that just brings a little bit more interest and a bit more scenic and a bit more fun to the layout, because it means you can put it on wherever you want. And it's quite nice to have an engine shed scene like this on a Steam layout. I'm just going to give you a quick overview on the signal box that is being worked on for this layout. This was originally a signal box made by my dad for his Great Western layout, but then he decided he didn't want it. The windows on this was actually part of the card kit that he had, but since I've had it, I've managed to cut the windows out. I've just got to add in windows and an interior in there just to make it look a little bit more suitable. And then yeah, I think just for a card kit, it's going to look quite nice, and it's just going to give it that better feel to the Steam era of this layout. But yeah, that's just my signal box for this layout. I think it's quite nice. There is going to be a lot of work that needs doing to this over time as well, and I will be having levers, a control panel, and even a signalman inside there, just for obviously operating points in the yard or the signals that are going to be on the top of the main line there, which I think would just give that, again, a nice little scenic break up there to hide the hole for the trains going in and out of the feeder yard on the main line. So then for this final clip, I'll just let you have a quick look at the standard 4. This is going to be the outro to this video. I hope you enjoyed this video and what the layout's going to look like, and I hope I managed to explain it clearly on what the intentions are for this layout. I understand a lot of you ain't going to be interested in Southern Steam at all, but it's what my preference is when it comes to steam engines and this time frame, so hence why I've gone with it. I would like to obviously invite you along to next chapters of this layout build. There's a lot that you've missed out on. I have been tempted to pick up the camera and film, but then when it comes to actually coming along to building projects like my engine shed or actually the baseboards itself, I haven't really picked up the camera to film. I've only just been taking pictures, so there will be dropping pictures in here so you can see the progress over time of this layout. I'm going to be ordering my points shortly for this layout, so hopefully I'll get some sort of decent power to this layout, so over time you will get the odd running session, and I hope that I could get this layout up and running quite soon, so I have more model railway footage available for the channel as a whole and for you guys to enjoy watching. There will be a lot of other videos coming soon. Like I said, I've got my part 3 of my Class 50 fleet, and I've had a request to do a fleet video of my Lima 47s, which I'm very tempted to do as I've got about 10 of them, but I'm happy to go through my steam engine fleet if you want me to. I haven't got many, and obviously my steam engine fleet is going to continue to grow as time goes on, but I'm happy to do a fleet video of my steam engines and possibly some detailed videos as well. Obviously I haven't weathered this loco myself, I bought it this way, but I'm happy to go over some basic detailing like pipe work and just silly little things like that. So far I'm still going through learning weathering techniques from various channels out on YouTube like FY Junction and Dave from Dean Park, and there's some other layouts on there and some more videos out there where I am learning weathering techniques. So yeah, over time hopefully I'll get better at weathering and I'll be able to show some of those techniques I've learnt to be able to share with some more of my viewers. And same goes for either kit builds like on wagons, or even another suggested video is to go through some of my Loco repaints I've done. So I'm up for that. If you want to see that, just, you know, drop it in the comment section below, or, you know, come message me on possibly my Facebook or even on Instagram. I'm happy to answer you. I'm happy to have a chat, give you some hint at, you know, other layout projects that's been going on, or even if you're stuck with model layouts, I'm happy to help come to overcome the issues or conclusions you have on the layout. This one is going to be analog, or what people know as DC. I was thinking and toying with the idea of DCC, but at the moment it's just quite an expense, and it's just quite a lot to then have to go through and convert a lot of my stock, including my Lima Locos, considering I've got a lot of them. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be updating you shortly once my points have arrived for this layout. Cheers.